Hey Chris, it's Dave with ArtisanRevere. I just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to test our knives. I hope you love them. I'm going to do a quick quality control inspection test. I do this for every single customer. Also, just as an FYI, I also do a video for every single customer. We're still small enough where we're able to do that. And after the QC inspection, I'm going to go over our 8.5 steps to make sure that these knives last forever. These are super high performance blades. They are not like, your typical German beater knife, and they're a little bit of an upgraded version versus quite a few of the Japanese knives that are out there as well. So let's jump into the QC inspection. So first thing I like to do is just do a little magazine cut test. So this is your knife here. So you can see wicked sharp. It's moving through the magazine paper like it's not even there. And then same thing with the paring knife as well. Awesome. So now let's just complete that QC inspection. We'll do the chef knife first, and then we'll do the paring knife, okay? So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check for the pins. These are the 4 pins, that they're super flush. I'm gonna inspect that there's no gaps or epoxy leakage. There isn't any. I'm checking to make sure that the handle is really nice and smooth. I'm gonna re-oil it as soon as I ship it. Cool, next, I'm gonna check the flex. We want just a little bit of flex on the chef knife. We want no flex on the paring knife. We are checking to make sure that the spine has been rounded nicely, which it has. We're checking to make sure that the choil, that's this finger guard area right here, that's been rounded nicely. Again, it has as well. I'm gonna do a quick balance check. We want it to balance right in front of the handle, and that's because basically it gives you the perfect balance between power and dexterity. More weight in the blade gives you more power, like I think of a cleaver. More weight in the handle gives you more dexterity, more control. Cool, super. So let's just do a second chip test. We're just running it through my fingernail, super smooth, no issues at all. I'm gonna do a little edge flex test. This is just to see. We don't, on our knives, we harden to 60 to 62. Usually we're a little bit towards the higher end of that range. Usually we're right around 61.5, 62. So we want actually no edge flex in this blade. A lot of the Japanese knives that are very proud of their edge flex, what it really means is that those blades are crazy, crazy thin. But they wind up having, I don't want to say absolutely no, but very, very little dimensional stability at the edge. And so what that means is it's very, very easy to chip the edge. So our blades are meaningfully harder to chip for several reasons, one of which is that we use a 3rd generation powder steel called LMAX. Powder steels in general have a very, very, very compact, homogeneous, tiny, tiny, tiny microstructure of the actual steel itself. And so what that does is it makes it really, really tough, and toughness is another way of saying it can survive impact and torque and torsion, etc. So we've just done the edge flex test. Again, no edge flexibility on our blade. We've done the magazine test, and now I'm just going to do a grind check on this blade. That is perfect. I'm going to check for straightness as well. Part of the grind check, and that's really nice. So that's the chef. I'm gonna do the same exact thing for the paring, checking the pins, checking for epoxy leakage. There isn't any. We're checking the spine, make sure that it's nice and round. Really, really good edge. You want no flex at the tip. Soft spine, soft choil. No, we're not trying to have our paring knife be balanced. Obviously, there's the paring knife is meant to be handle heavy, and this one just feels just right in my hands. Perfect. We've already done the chip test. No edge flex at all on this blade. Yep, great. We can do a quick grind check. Super. Now I'm checking for straightness. That's perfectly straight. Great. So now I'm going to put these both away. I'm going to go over our knife care steps. So I'm sure you know all of these. I just want to reiterate a couple. We've had a few hiccups with professional chefs, and these will just ensure that your knife lasts longer than it would otherwise. So one of the things that we see fairly frequently with professional chefs this is a prototype wooden saya, as they're chopping, we see very often they're scraping and scooping with the cutting edge of the blade. We would suggest, instead of when you're done chopping, either flip the blade upside down, use the spine to scrape and scoop, or use a bench scraper to scrape and scoop. That's going to extend the edge life pretty significantly. Another thing that we sometimes see with professional chefs, a lot of professional cooks are used to using handles, using blades, I should say, that have handles made from various types of plastics. Plastics you don't need to maintain as carefully as you would wood-based handles. Our handles are made from Richlight, which is a 65% recycled wood pulp material. It's super sustainable. That's very important to us as a company, is to be as sustainable as possible. As I'm sure you saw in my email, our steel 738 times less CO2 equivalent compared to the closest Japanese steels. Handle materials are also very, very carbon friendly, or earth friendly, I should say. So, food grade mineral oil. A little bit of food grade mineral oil on the handle. Think of it just like it's a wooden cutting board. You add the food grade mineral oil and just rejuvenates the handle. Food grade mineral oil is also great for the blade itself because it creates a protective barrier that protects against all the elements, so moisture, acid, salt, etc. So those are kind of the two big ones that we suggest to professional cooks. Another one that sometimes they teach this incorrectly at cooking school, and you see this fairly frequently. We see a lot of cooks honing like this. I don't like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, a lot of times people are just literally chopping into the rod. By the way, use a ceramic rod instead of a steel one. Ceramic is smoother, higher Rockwell hardness, so it's going to move that around the blade. So again, instead of doing this sort of butcher style, really fast chopping motion almost, a lot of times also, by the way, we see folks doing like this. We don't like this method either because, as you could just hear, I just literally just cut into the finger guard. It's also not super safe in case you're not paying too much attention. You could slip and dice your finger. The French technique is to do this sort of reverse method. I'm totally okay with this way. I think this way is just fine. The safest method, though, is to place the rod into the table, or into a wooden cutting board, or into a cloth underneath it, or whatever, and then just put the heel up to it and move back towards you, maintaining a consistent angle. There's no reason to go super hard. You can go, add a little bit of force. You don't need to use too much force. Those are the main tips that I like to give professional cooks. And I hope you're going to enjoy your new knives. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.